entrepreneurs through our advocacy, our programming, and our events here at BECMA. And I would like to just say that I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish over the last 2 years in those various areas. And on the table we have our impact report for 2023 that shares a little bit more about BECMA, the work that we do, who we are, and really what we're looking forward to doing going forward. At the heart of what we do around building Black wealth is a keen focus on supporting our small Black-owned firms. We know that small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and so we do work in supporting our businesses through grants, through professional services and other back office support, and in helping getting contracts, because at the end of the day, nobody starts a business to get a grant. You know, everybody wants to sell their goods and services, and so we do that work as well and know that it's important. And we have some of our entrepreneurs today that, thanks to the earmark that Senator Warren and Rep. Pressley secured for us, we've been able to use those funds to support many entrepreneurs. Again, some of them are here today. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief of Policy and Advocacy here, Alyssa Benefil-Ramos, and she will introduce Senator Warren. We'll get started.
Yes, thank you so much, Nicole. We at BECMA are excited to introduce Senator Elizabeth Warren this morning. Senator Warren is the senior United States Senator for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, elected in 2012 and serving our state since 2013. She is the first woman ever elected to the Senate from Massachusetts. Senator Warren has been a leading voice, advocating for consumers and fighting for structural change to rebuild the middle class. She has had success in obtaining some student debt relief, increased federal funding for child care, reducing out-of-pocket costs for high school students in career and technical education programs, and directing federal funding to address the opioid epidemic. She has plans to address our nation's housing crisis, prescription drug costs, increase worker voice in decision-making processes at the biggest companies, require public employees to disclose climate-related risks, increasing child care, and much, much more. Too much to list at this time. All of these directly affect BECMA's member businesses and myself personally. I am glad we have such a staunch advocate fighting on our behalf in our nation's capital. Her work has led to the creation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which continues to identify traps that impact millions related to credit cards, mortgages, and other financial products. Senator Warren was a law professor for over 30 years. She has expertise in several areas, including bankruptcy, contracts, and commercial law, to name a few. She has taught at Harvard University and herself attended the University of Houston and Rutgers School of Law. Senator Warren has been married for over 40 years, has 2 children, 3 grandchildren, and lives in Cambridge. We are incredibly grateful for your leadership for sponsoring BECMA's $1 million earmark. This is supporting small businesses across industries and supports us in doing our part to strengthen the Commonwealth's economy. As a constituent and on behalf of BECMA, I am honored and grateful to introduce to all of you Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, that is so nice, Alyssa. That is really incredibly generous. That is a lovely introduction. I want to be brief because I want to hear from all of you, but I do want to say thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Nicole, for inviting me here today. Thank you for having us here to celebrate. It is so exciting to be able to talk about something good happening. We often come together to try to talk about what's wrong and what we need to do, but this time we get to talk about we've actually done something right, and that is $1 million for the BOSS program. Can we just yes? The reason this is so important is that this gives us a chance to celebrate in a very tangible way our small businesses, and in particular, our Black-owned businesses. And there's no better place to do that than right here in Nubian Square. I'm so happy to be here to be able to do this. It's been a hub of Black entrepreneurship for generations, and the opportunity to build a Black Wall Street right here is an exciting moment. BECMA was founded on the principle that we need to do more to address the black wealth gap in this city and in our nation. And you, BECMA, have been fierce advocates and partners in doing this. And this particular grant that the Congresswoman and the rest of the federal delegation and I were able to pull together is just one tangible piece of our support for the work that you are doing. I could not in this world ask for a better partner to get this work done than the Congresswoman, but it also takes partners on the ground, and BECMA is a terrific partner. And I like to think that this celebration is just the beginning of what comes next and what comes next and what comes next. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I'll err towards brevity as well, because I do want to
If
hear.
you don't mind, I would like to do an introduction for you.
Okay.
Before we do the interview, we have some guests as well that we can introduce. Senator Miranda.
Yeah, of course. We're joined by State Senator Miranda, who's been a champion of BECMA and fought to secure us a state earmark.
Yes. This is her district.
Born and raised on the playground where I started.
I know we have some guests in the crowd too, representing Councilor Morell's office.
Thank you.
Also our sister colleague, Linda Dorsita Forey, former state
Yes,
senator.
yes.
Is there anybody else I'm missing from councilors, legislators? Want to shout out? Feel free to raise your hand. All right, cool. Well, thank you. I'll jump right into it. Representative Ayanna Pressley was the first black woman to serve on the Boston City Council. I say that not because black faces in high places is the solution to racial inequality, but because as the first black woman to serve on the City Council, as well as the first black woman elected to Congress from Massachusetts, Representative Pressley has consistently used her platform, her organizing skills, her work ethic, and her voice to further the struggle for black freedom, including through directly addressing the racial wealth gap. In the City Council, Rep. Pressley sponsored the Equity in the City of Boston Contracts Ordinance, which created a supplier diversity program to conduct outreach to female and minority-owned businesses that helped lay the groundwork for the incredible progress the City of Boston has seen in their supplier diversity. In the Congress, she has been a key leader on voting rights, fighting for equitable access to health care, criminal justice reform, public transit, foreign affairs, prioritizing underserved communities, and ensuring that equity is part of every decision the government makes. I am personally grateful for her leadership, as well as Senator Warren's leadership, on student loan relief, and I'm currently benefiting from a couple $100 a month to get some relief. She's always been a champion for working people, holding banks and major financial institutions accountable, and ensuring that the 7th District in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts receives the financial support we need to address inequities. We're grateful for her leadership in securing $1 million to implement this programming that directly supports our businesses, and it's my honor, both as a representative of BECMA and as a constituent, to introduce Representative Pressley.
All right.
Wow, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's good to be with everyone. It's always good to be home, always good to be in the 7th, always good to be in Roxbury. This feels very full circle in many ways. You all know that policy is my love language, and my practice is that of cooperative governing. And so I really strive to not vote on a bill, write a bill, co-sponsor a bill, or advocate for an appropriation without engaging those closest to the pain. And that has been true with BECMA. And what immediately comes to mind for me is at the height of the pandemic, the number of sort of virtual town halls and engagements that we had. And it was based on what I learned in those discussions. At the height of COVID, about the need not for loans but grants, but also for the need for technical assistance to scale up and to be more competitive in the digital economy. And so just know that your insights, your expertise, your DNA is all over everything that the Senator and I advocate for, because we do want to be intentional about actively listening to you and making sure that we're advancing change that you can feel, that you don't know what we've done on your behalf because you read a press release, but because you can feel it in your lives each and every day. And it's very important to me as the first person of color to represent the Commonwealth in the House in its 230-year history, and the first black woman to do that. I am squarely focused on black wealth, health, and joy. And this is we have a $10 trillion racial wealth gap crisis in this country. That is not just a problem for black folks, that's a problem for everyone. And you all know the statistics that generally speaking, the black dollar only stays in the black community about 6 hours. And so we have to address that, this racial wealth gap, and continue to grow micro businesses, because the only way we close this racial wealth gap is through ownership, is through entrepreneurialism, is through home ownership. And I also want to thank Senator Warren for her leadership and our partnership on that issue of student debt, because the last time we were all together with BECMA was when we were there talking about our work on student debt and how we just saw it very plainly as a racial justice issue. I also want to thank BECMA for your support of my legislation with Senator Booker on baby bonds. So we are, looking to be very prescriptive, very precise, very intentional, because the harm, whether you're talking about the banking industry with disparate lending in terms of access to capital, or the practices of redlining, or any other number of policy violence examples that I could enumerate, the harm that was done was very race conscious and very precise. And so I think we have to be unapologetic in being just as race conscious and prescriptive in addressing this racial wealth gap, again, which is a $10 trillion crisis. So it is wonderful to be here to celebrate. I want to say in many ways I do consider this to be even a radical act as we see a defunding of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a recoiling in many instances from stridently advocating for our businesses. And so just know that the Senator and I remain undeterred, unflappable. We will continue to persist on your behalf. Very grateful for your partnership, and grateful for all the contributions that you make to civic life, our culture, and most of all, our economy.
At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our entrepreneurs, our businesses that are here today. So first, and please, if I pronounce your name wrong, please let me know. We have Shanna Bryant.
Shauna.
Shauna Bryant Consulting. See, I knew. Shauna Bryant Consulting, who received $10,000 through the congressionally directed funding. That's a mouthful. Then I have Denise from Cafe Juice and her partner, who is here as well. I have Mash from Butterfly Falafel, and I have Lois from Rise and Shine, who received her first state contract. Now, Mac received $20,000 from the earmark, Denise received $13,000, and like I said, Lois received her first state contract, but did not receive funding from the earmark. At this time, I'll pass it over to Tristan to start with our questions.
Yeah, I just want to give each of the entrepreneurs and business owners an opportunity to introduce yourselves, speak about your business, and speak about the support that BECMA provided and how that's affected your journey. So if you don't mind, we could start with Dimitri and Denise, Cafe Juice.
And since the media is here, please promote your business.
Hi, thank you everyone. Thank you, BECMA, for everything. My name is Dimitri Sonor. I'm co-owner of Cafe Juice Up with Denise. So we co-own the business. We're located in 1290 Blue Hill in Mattapan. So we're making juices, smoothies. We are on the healthy side of things, food cups, all those things. And we've been going through ups and downs in the business. That's the nature of business. We opened since 2019, January. So we've been in business for like 5 years now. And it's been great. When we started, the community really welcomed us. They like the products, they like what we're doing in the community. And I joined the company 3 months after they opened. So I wasn't in the beginning when they first opened. But I joined the company because I believe in the product. I believe in whatever they were doing in the community. And I feel like I can put my touch to it, to make things better, to improve the place, to satisfy the community with the product. But in 2022, I would say, end of the year 2022, she had a partner. Things happened. We were going through a financial crisis. We had debts. We had a lot of things. Financial struggle. And in 2023, when we were making calls, trying to find people to help, she's not here today, Ruthie. Her name is Ruthie, our city councilor. She introduced us to Beckman. She's like, I'm going to introduce you to this community of people. They're here to help black people, black businesses who are going through hardship. And they might be able to help you guys with this financial crisis. And she introduced us to Nicole, spoke to Nicole. She was like really responsive. Things went really quick. Communication was like really easy and fast. And we explained Nicole what we're going through. And they were like, what do you need? Just tell us what you need. We need financial assistance. Just tell us what you need. And we explained to them what was going on, and they were able like to come through for us. Because also we had a deadline, especially with the state of Massachusetts. We had some money to pay them. We had a deadline, and we tell them what we need, and they were able to assist us with all the money we needed. And before we reached the deadline, we were able to set things up with the state. And we're like really grateful for that, because the business was like at the edge of failing. Because beside that, we only got like financial hardship in the store as well. Like due to staffing, we don't have enough people to work. We are not out of peak season, so we cannot, like, if it wasn't for Beckma, we didn't know what we were going to do, because we had no income, we full of debts. So they were like really able to help us, and we were like really grateful to this day for the help we received from Beckma.
And they're seeking larger contracts now.
Yes. And I just want to add to Nicole, thank you again. The efforts of Beckma really helped to stabilize Cafe Juice Up at a time when we were struggling. So thank you again. So as we go forward, we are seeking contracts from the state. We are in a much better place. We are well structured, and we are ready for any contracts that could come our way. So please tap into our elected folks. Keep us in mind for future contracts.
Healthy food.
Yeah,
Healthy food.
I'm upset there's nothing here from Juice Up today. I swear by everything there, especially that banana bread.
Thank you. So Beckma is a regular customer at Cafe Juice Up. They order from us all the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we
wonderful.
brought
So we more
Secretary Howe on
Yes.
a tour of businesses, because we're helping with to get contracts, and so
Wonderful.
we want her to know about it as well.
Thank you, Nicole, for your leadership. Because the senator and I always say, it's not true if you build it, they will come. You have to. It's not true if they don't know about it.
That's right.
So thank you for being that master connector. And I also want to say about Cafe Juice Up, while what you're doing is so important, Mattapan has some of the worst health disparities in the city of Boston. And so increasing that access to fresh and healthy foods is so important. So you're not only hiring from the community, but you're also making us healthier.
Yes, and the community, they embrace what we're doing. They are happy that we're there. They tell us this every day, that in the past they would have to go to affluent towns to get certain products, but that we have it right here, legitimate stuff. No,
On
yeah.
Blue Hill.
On Blue Hill. That's right. Yes. Thank you.
So my name is Shada Bryant. I am the founder and CEO of Shada Bryant Consulting, and started as a full-time business in 2019, and so went through the pandemic and struggled and lost 75% of my revenue, and had to figure out how to get the PPP, which we ended up getting at the second round. got to get unemployment and didn't really have to shut my doors, but just went, cut my budget, learned how to not spend money, which was, a good habit. And maybe I'm not still in that phase, but I did learn how to cut my budget. And so I was blessed with the opportunity to bid on a city contract, which is Open Streets Boston. So I am the queen of the streets. If you've not heard of Open Streets Boston, would love for you to join us this year. But that was a contract that I secured in 2021. And I just remember in the interview process, I made it very clear as a small business, I don't have six-figure cash flow to front a government contract, but I need the opportunity to secure a government contract. And it was understood that I could not operate with the 30-day net terms of a city, state, or anybody else's reimbursements. And so it was understood. And then in 2022, when we actually executed the events, I found myself in a place where I had to find contract financing. And this was the first time that I had been told or heard of contract financing. And so was offered a 10K loan. Again, I had about 60 days to front $90,000, and I didn't have it. So fortunately, MCCI and LEAP at that time were able to expedite a loan, non-traditional CDFI loan, and they were able to get me the money about 30 days before. What I also learned in that process is that there is the interest that comes with these loans. And either you eat it or you figure out how to cushion it into your contract. And because this was my first year, I had no idea what we was talking about, or how to structure the contract to not have to eat it. So now this interest is cutting into my profit, right? And so last year, when I secured the contract and increased the contract, BECMA was able to help with the 10K to eat the loan, the interest on the loan. Otherwise, that would have been money that, again, was going to eat into my profit. And so that was huge, because the year before I was able to get a grant as well to eat into, so it didn't eat into my profit, and I was able to increase my profit from 6 to 24% once I learned how to actually do a $500,000 or $1 million budget. And again, I'm not in the business of like giving away profit. I can't grow if I don't have this money to grow the business. So it was huge. I'm still, this year, the contract has grown from 5 neighborhoods to 6 neighborhoods. And so again, that means that the revenue hasn't grown, but also the amount of money I need on a loan and the amount of money that is going to be taken for the loan interest is still there, and figuring out how to secure another grant potentially, BECMA maybe, this year as well, because again, I'm not interested in giving up my profit. I'm really grateful that growing this business over the last 5 years, it has really allowed me to practice collective economics. And so 99% of my staff are black women or young black boys or young black men. So I get the money, I give it. So when I have $1 million contract, at least 50% of that, if not more, are going back to black people, right? And I'm really proud of that. And I will continue to operate in that fashion. The other thing that BECMA has been really helpful with last year was I knew that after the success with Open Streets, I was going to be able to hire my first FTE. And although I know I'm a great leader, I'm a great boss, having the tools necessary to hire somebody, train them, so that they can take on some of my responsibilities and so forth, I needed an HR professional. I am not an HR professional. I am events planning, logistics, tell you what to do professional. And so I needed somebody in HR to kind of guide me through hiring, job descriptions, postings. And so BECMA was able to help me with technical assistance with AIM, which I'm going to mess up what the acronym means.
Associated Industries of Mass. Right?
There we go. And so they supported they supported with funding to work with them for 3 months. And this one was absolutely incredible with redoing job descriptions, posting, interview process, screenings, to the point where then I was able to hire my first FTE in March of this year. And so that process I would not have been able to go through without that technical assistance from BECMA, Nicole, and Mac was extremely helped me with putting me in touch with those resources. And so because of that, SBC, Shauna Bryant Consulting, has their first full-time staff member. With 60 days in, everything is wonderful. I feel like I am leading her in the right direction. They helped me with my handbook, like all the things that I didn't know I needed. They helped me with workers' comp, all the things I didn't know I needed. And so I'm really grateful for BECMA for not only the financial support that they were able to give to not have to eat all of this loan money or loan interest, but then also supporting with my first hire, which is huge. And so now I can move forward with the idea that more profit, I can get another FTE by the end of the year, which is going to be huge to continue to grow the business. And I'll just say that, Open Streets has been a labor of love, a labor of learning, a labor. And the first one is next weekend, May 5th, in Dorchester. So we'll be shutting down a little over a mile of Dorchester Ave with somewhere around 200 programming partners. Really excited for the community to come out. I talked to God, the weather's going to be great. And so would love to see, all of the community come out. But I will say I want a state contract and I want a federal contract. And so what that looks like, what those contracts will be, it is on my business development checklist. And so I will be having meetings with the lovely Liz.
We're real friends. That's why she's acting like this.
I want to say Lizzie Fresh, but the lovely Liz, that might be how she's saved in my phone. But yes, I'm knocking on doors, and my only option is to grow, and it's on the state and federal level. So. Oh, Open Streets, Boston.
Thank you.
I just want to say to you, personally, I just remember your journey and when you first sort of made the decision to monetize that which you were passionate about, because you were giving a lot of your gifts away freely out of love for community. So I just want to commend all of you with that entrepreneurial spirit. It takes a lot to step out on faith and to trust your gifts. So
Thank you.
it's incredible.
Actually, I just want to add a point too. I appreciate how you point out how many different things BECMA has been able to help you with. Running a small business starts with a great idea and a lot of energy and a lot of passion, but it's also about learning how contracting works and about how interest compounds and about HR and all the other pieces. I want to say there's one more part too that we work on, and that is how to make it possible at the federal level for small businesses to be able to get just even a piece of these federal contracts. We are set up so that giant contractors can continue to be the only federal contractors. And trying to break that and create some open space for small businesses is hard. And I want to make those changes. I know the Congresswoman does. But it also takes BECMA and other organizations and advocates to be able to help us get into those kind of cracks in between and start to open them up so they really are available to small businesses. So there's a lot of, we're here to celebrate $1 million, but there's a lot of technical work to really build a thriving community. And I appreciate all you're doing on that. And thanks for highlighting all the pieces.
And at the request, most people want more state contracts, and one of the things BECMA's been a great partner in is being able, when I get the request from a business, either a proprietor who's running the business as a micro business or folks that have even become larger in the last couple of years, they've been able to help with the TA. Sometimes preparation is, they have these benchmarks that our businesses are not meeting, because if you're running your business from 7 to 7 every day, when do you have time to manage the books or manage other processes that they're requiring you guys to do? So it's been really helpful. Every time I send someone there, then we get them ready, and then they go to the state, and then their chances are better to receive the support that they deserve.
That is so true.
And so thank you for doing that. Even today, you're probably going to get 4 more emails, because folks are, and I want to thank you also for educating the community and being so outwardly responsive as well, because what's happening is more and more people in our community are now knowing they can call their elected official, they can call somewhere like BECMA and say, hey, I need help. When that wasn't the case 3-4 years ago, I felt like people were feeling they were swimming in dirt. That was one example that someone gave me, that you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you, couldn't see 5 inches in front of you because it wasn't readily available. Now BECMA sends out reports, emails. You guys have great conferences. You use your social media well, which some people find their information that way. So thank you for all that you've done. And I'm excited. Open Streets is really great, and I'm glad that it's coming to Hyde Park, another neighborhood in our district that is growing with a minority base that really deserves the opportunity to celebrate its rich Caribbean and African cultures that are there.
I'm excited too.
And it's a wonderful cross-pollination because every time you do open streets, people are introduced to other small businesses.
Yes, other neighborhoods.
Other neighborhoods.
Never been to, in particular, I'm going to just shout out East Boston because
Right.
the food out there, she's hungry today.
Give the opportunity to Lois to introduce yourself, speak more about your business, and securing your state contract.
Thank you. Again, thank you, Nicole, for inviting me today. I really appreciate it. My name is Lois Reason. I am the CEO and the founder of Liechtenstein Contract Cleaning. We're located right here, thank God, in Nubian Square. We've been here probably for the last 10 to 15 years. I started the business in 1998 as a DBA, and then in 2001 I had the business incorporated. Basically, I come from, people ask why did I start the business. I was incorporated for 20 years. I was at Putnam Investments for 10 years, and I was at Bank of America for 10 years, did project management for both firms, and then I was in the military for 14 years.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
And in those 3 areas of working, I realized I saw a lot that I didn't like in terms of the culture and just people being unfair. Treated unfairly. And so I said, well, what can I do? Start my own and develop a culture that I thought was fair. A culture where that allowed individuals to be empowered despite their background. A culture that demonstrated humanity and showed appreciation to all of the employees. Because my philosophy is, if you're still working, you're entitled to a bonus. But at Putnam Investments, it depended who you were. And I always got a bonus. But a lot of people didn't. And I clearly didn't like that. I just thought it was so unfair. So it was important for me to provide a particular culture, which I believe I've been successful at. Because I can say for the last 20 years, 25 years almost, well, 26, some employees have been with me for the whole run. And most of the employees have been with me for 10 years plus. And so it's been a true blessing. In terms of what we do, we provide new construction cleaning. So Bartlett Station, Dudley Crossing, all the homes on Harvard Street, it's about 400 of them, Olmsted Green and Harvard Commons. We have the privilege of cleaning all of those buildings before people moved in. We also provide janitorial services as well for nonprofits. Heading Home is one of my dearest ones, close to my heart, because they're a nonprofit that provides services for the homeless. But I wanted to say what I love about being here is BECMA allowed me the opportunity to have my first state contract, which is at the shelter. We're right down the street at the shelter. And being there has been so humbling for me as well as my entire staff. And I just thank you, Nicole, your organization, for making that happen.
This is the migrant shelter.
Yes.
Well, yeah, thank you for
Thank
sharing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Unless there's any questions, I'll turn it over to our friend Nash from Butterfly Falafel. Introduce yourself, your business, the cultural significance of your business. Please.
My name is, real name is Abdullahi Abdurrahman. I'm known by Nash. I've been around in Roxbury quite a while. I came originally from Somalia. I'm a Muslim immigrant. I own Butterfly Falafel, which is at Roxbury Crossing. I've been there since 2000, and I offer healthy food, which is vegan, falafel, shawarmas, and coffee, and the best tea in town. Best tea. If you're a tea drinker,
I am.
you're always welcome. I was closed for 3 years in the business right after the pandemic, then just opened it up last April, and changed the whole inside the cafe, renovated with family and friends. Spent about $300,000. I didn't get any PP pandemics. I couldn't, whatever the reason is, I wasn't qualified. But I'm open back up now, and you know how business is. When you cannot pay your employees, when you cannot pay your utilities, and it's very tough for someone who works for you like 10, 40 hours, and then you can't pay him or you can't pay her. That's really, you know. But I want to thank you for Beckman that who can help me out to get some utilities paid, some of my payrolls paid, but it's not enough to maintain the business. And also what I want to shout out is everybody who's here. It's very important who's sitting on that seat. Our elected officials is very important who's on that seat. That makes the difference. So I just want to be aware of that, so we all aware of it. I want to thank you for all of your work that Senator Warren, my sister, Ayanna. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you for the opportunity that you guys gave me. My place is not only a cafe. It's a civic engagement. It's a historic place. It's an education. It's an, what I do now also, I feed the immigrants that who just came without paying. Because there's a lot of African immigrants that who came also. Then just take care of them for now. Maybe down the road when they get up, then they might become your customers, client. So that's the plan. So again, 1 million is not enough, but they're trying to get us more, hopefully. And thank you again that making the equity and inclusion for real and diversity. Thank you, Beckman. Keep it up the good work. And we'll be here, you know, looking for contractors, maybe school contractors, serving the schools and the kids and all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mash. So I believe with that, we're wrapping up the roundtable portion. Thank you to each of the entrepreneurs for coming and representing. And I think we're going to transition into a press Q&A. Is that correct? Yep.
I just want to add one more thing. Just I can't emphasize enough how I say this very often, that you don't elect saviors, you elect partners.
Yeah.
And please do always see us as your partners. When you push us, we push institutions, we push them. And you were talking about how when you first applied for PPP, you didn't get it, but the second round you did. That for many, that was because Senator Warren and I advocated for small banks to be included as lenders. And that was because of advocacy that came from all of you, because we know that, you know, minority and women-owned businesses and micro businesses, that they bank with minority deposit institutions and smaller banks. But when the first round of PPP came out, it was only for those larger banks. So that was a situation where we were able to course correct in real time, and we were able to advocate on your behalf because you advocated to us. So please know that you honestly can make a difference in micro and macro ways, and always do see us as your partners. And thank you all. Thank you, Beckman.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe we could move into the big check photo, or do you want to do
Oh,
the
let's do the big
Yeah.
check. Yes. Come on, this is the.
She loves that part like it's real every time. I love it. She's gonna like bite it like. She's gonna bite it like. Is it
Oh, I'm moving. All right, big check.
I want you to sign it.
Here you go, here's a
Are we
nice
ready?
colorful marker.
All right. Are you gonna sign, if I sign here, will you sign here?
Sure.
I wanna make sure I'm leaving you space. I don't want this thing to be bounced back. Because we have no sign. All right, are you all ready?
That's why we're eliminating overdraft fees.
That's right. We are. We're fine. Yeah. We are.
Yeah, we are. It's
Here
not
we
a
go.
joke.
Here we go. You know how many
Oh, you
billion
have
dollars
such
it's
nice
gonna pay back to the community? Listen, if I'm gonna get $1 million, you're gonna be able to see my name. Be able to read it, dear. There we go. All right, looks pretty. All right, we ready? Who's gonna join us? That way you're gonna join us, right? Yes, we will. All right.
We have two different checks. Bring this one, I'll hold this one. You know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because Beckman said they're gonna customize everything. We want our own check.
This is for y'all. You got 2 checks?
Okay, here we go. Here we go. This level. Here we go. We don't look on the level here.
Yeah, making sure.
Yeah. I've noticed that.
Now they're gonna say, was it 2 million?
Okay, that works.
I love it. Yeah.
All set? Right. Okay, thank you so much.
You want to do one with Nicole and the 2 legislators?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm not in, but you.
No.
Okay, perfect. Every time. All set? Okay.
Here we go. Super.
Amazing.
Nice.
You know, for all of our members, I am the new chair of the Supplier Diversity Office for the state. So we are definitely working on getting state contracts, but federal contracts are very good, and we'll work on those as well.
That's where the money resides.
Yes, yes. So before we wrap, I want to just again give a shout out to Open Streets May.
On May 5th, on Dorchester Ave.
And then Beckma, we are having our open house right here in Union Square up on the roof, on the deck. Is it June 5th?
Third.
June 3rd.
Monday, June 3rd.
And everyone is welcome to join us. And
We're gonna transition to the podium.
yeah,
For questions? Yes, for first question.
okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. We're all together? I've got mine. I think Ayanna and I are supposed to make a statement for the press, so they've got it, and if you want to stand up here while we do that, might be a good idea. Okay? And we've got Ayanna. Feel free to come in closer. So I just want to say how pleased I am to be here today to celebrate $1 million coming to BECMA. This happens because of the terrific work that BECMA is doing. We have a racial wealth gap problem in this nation. We have a racial wealth gap problem here in Boston. And one of the ways we can address that is by supporting our Black-owned small businesses. And one of the best ways that we can support this work is through federal funding, and that's exactly what we're here today to celebrate. The Congresswoman and I and Senator Markey secured $1 million in federal funding to support the Back Office Support Services, or the BOSS program of BECMA. By the way, that is a great name. If you're gonna have an organization to support small businesses, that's a terrific name. With this funding, BECMA has supported over 400 businesses. It has provided over $600,000 in working capital grants, and it has distributed 20 individual grants and more. I am all in on this fight. Here's the deal. 99.5% of Massachusetts businesses are small businesses, but only 7.1% are Black-owned businesses. These numbers reflect the systemic barriers that Black business owners face due to unequal access to capital and to networks. There's a lot we can do and must do to address these disparities, and one great place to start is student loans. We know that people with student loan debt have a harder time building wealth, a harder time buying a home, and a harder time starting a small business. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia found that many aspiring small business owners may be unable to get the capital they need because student loan debt is holding them back. We need to fix this system. This is a racial justice issue. It is an economic justice issue in our country. You know, people stand up and talk about the importance of small businesses, but it's time for those in Washington to deliver on those words, and that's part of what we're about today. Small businesses are not just the backbone of our economy. You are the heart of our Commonwealth. So I will continue to work with Senator Markey, with Congresswoman Pressley, and with the rest of the Massachusetts federal delegation to secure funding for terrific Massachusetts organizations like BECMA, organizations that support Black-owned and Black-led innovation, entrepreneurship, and small businesses. And based on what I heard today, we're going to redouble our efforts on trying to find those spaces so that federal contracts are available not just to the big guys who already have those contracts, but are available to small businesses and available to Black-owned businesses. So thank you all for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. We take your stories back to Washington, and you give us the power to fight even harder. And with that, I introduce the best partner in the world in these fights, someone who fights from the heart, but fights with a steely determination to get it done. Congresswoman Pressley.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always challenging following my dear friend and my partner in good trouble. First, I just want to begin by just acknowledging the building that we're in today. This building named for Bruce C. Bowling, who was an incredible champion and advocate for a more inclusive economy and for minority contracting. And so it is very full circle that we are here in this building named for this incredible champion of racial justice, of economic justice, and standing alongside this extraordinary leader. As you all know, I never tire of calling a Black woman Madam President. So it's always good to be shoulder to shoulder with you, Nicole, and we thank you for your stewardship at the helm of this incredible organization, which was founded in the wake of the Federal Reserve of Boston's Color of Wealth report, which everyone has heard, these damning statistics. But, you know, I will continue to lift them up and to cite them, because if you're tired of hearing them, imagine how tired people are of living these realities. And that wealth gap within the city of Boston of that $8 for a Black Boston family and $247,500 for a white Boston family persists against the backdrop of a damning $10 trillion racial wealth gap crisis for the entire country. And again, that is not just a problem for Black America, that is a problem for everyone. And the reason why this racial wealth gap exists is because of scarcity budgets, is because of policy violence, is because of disparate lending, whether it be for home ownership or business ownership by our financial institutions, redlining, all of those things which have denied our families the ability to build generational wealth. Where there have been gains in income, we have not seen those gains in wealth. But that is changing. That is changing because of the innovators and the entrepreneurs that join us here today that are members of BECMA. That is changing because of the advances that are being made on the issue of student debt relief and cancellation that Senator Warren and I have been in the trenches working on now for some almost 3 years. And we are so encouraged by the progress that has been made in that regard, because we do see that as an economic justice issue, as a racial justice issue, and as a gender justice issue. 2/3 of that nearly $2 trillion crisis are disproportionately on the shoulders of women, disproportionately on the shoulders of Black women. And so I thank the senator for her partnership, and I thank Beckma for your partnership. I heard you loud and clear at the height of the pandemic. We had so many virtual convenings, and people said, you know, we need access to capital, we need technical assistance, we don't need loans, we need grants. And so I'm so glad that we could deliver this $1 million investment for the BOSS program. And I love community project funding because this is the marrying of the best kind of relationship, which is budgetary allocation that is community driven, government endorsed and invested. So we didn't fight for this because we decided to fight for it. We fought for it because we actively listened to you, and you told us that we better have. And so it feels extraordinary to be able to celebrate that. The BOSS program has a proven history of providing essential business infrastructure through services, tools, and technical assistance to ensure small business owners are able to effectively and compliantly operate and succeed. The BOSS project will benefit small businesses and entrepreneurs at the local, regional, and statewide level through helping small businesses and entrepreneurs become more competitive in today's digital economy. Again, I'm so grateful for the work and leadership of BECMA over the years. Beginning in 2015, the federal funding that we secured for BECMA is a precise, intentional federal investment in our Black small business owners and entrepreneurs, and again, will help us to close the glaring racial wealth gap right here in Massachusetts. As the Congresswoman representing one of the most unequal districts in this country, I'm especially proud to have secured this robust funding alongside my colleague and dear friend, Senator Warren, to help our communities thrive. As Senator Warren and I work in Congress towards a more just and equitable Commonwealth and country, it is so important that we have organizations like BECMA doing the work daily of combating inequities and barriers to wealth building. So today is really a great day. All right, thank you.
Any questions? Are we good? All right, we're good. Let's keep those businesses going.